I've been that guy. While you was at home doing this, I was in the club making moves.
Jake Paul, if this is not going to be, curated into a little dance around exhibition, could find himself in a way of getting seriously hurt here, like Francis Ngannou did. Francis Ngannou was an MMA fighter that got blasted out by Anthony Joshua.
The internet didn't just wake up today, it got super kicked in the jaw. Because Jake Paul, the Chaos King himself, just dropped a brand new training clip so insane, so ridiculous, so physics-defying that even Anthony Joshua, Mr. Olympic gold medal, Mr. British Terminator, had to stop what he was doing and say, "Hold on, what am I looking at? This isn't your cute little influencer workout." No, this looked like Jake Paul sold his soul to a boxing demon for better footwork. Like he downloaded a cheat code pack called Move Like Prime Mike Tyson. Even his shadow was trying to keep up. The second that clip hit social media, the entire combat sports world had a collective panic attack. Trainers froze. Heavyweights stared. Fans replayed it like a conspiracy video. Even UFC fighters started tweeting cryptic emojis like they'd just witnessed an alien abduction, because this wasn't normal training footage. This was a warning shot, a digital threat, a "Dear Anthony Joshua, hope you're hydrating because you're about to sweat pure fear." And now the question the world is screaming at 300 decibels. Did Jake Paul actually evolve overnight? Or is this the biggest psychological attack in boxing history? Buckle up, this story punches harder than the clip itself. The moment Jake Paul's new training clip hit the timeline, the boxing world didn't just react, it suffered a full psychological malfunction. Phones froze. Gyms went silent. Trainers pretended they weren't impressed while secretly screen recording the video for research. Even the punching bags in sports stores looked nervous. This wasn't a workout clip. It was a cultural emergency disguised as a 20-second video. The clip itself arrived without warning. Like Jake Paul decided to drop a digital earthquake before breakfast. No promo, no teaser. Just pure chaos in motion. At first glance, people thought it was edited. It's because nobody expected Jake Paul to be moving with the kind of precision that makes Olympic coaches adjust their glasses. He was fast. Ridiculously fast. Uncomfortably fast. The type of fast that makes your Wi-Fi lag just out of embarrassment. Fans immediately lost their minds. They started tweeting things like, "Ain't no way this is Jake," and bro training like he's fighting Thanos. Some said he looked like a Marvel character during a special effects test. Others insisted he had to be possessed by the spirit of a retired legend. But the loudest group, the Anthony Joshua fans, who suddenly discovered a new form of spiritual anxiety because the rumors started. Instantly, Anthony Joshua watched the clip. Not casually, not lightly, not in a lol okay anyway way. Witnesses claimed he stared at the screen with a mix of confusion, respect, and pure existential dread, the type of look a man gives when he realizes his next opponent might actually be unhinged enough to win. One insider even said Joshua paused his own training to replay the clip in slow motion. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter. The internet already believes it. Jake Paul's haters tried to downplay the video, but their voices cracked from stress. They typed paragraphs about camera angles, lighting tricks, and conspiracy theories involving CGI. Some said Jake must have hired Hollywood editors to make him look faster. Others said he used a treadmill under the mat. Someone even claimed he recorded the video at 0.5 speed, then sped it up. The desperation was delicious. Meanwhile, journalists scrambled like their careers depended on explaining this anomaly. They posted articles titled "Jake Paul's Shocking Transformation." Anthony Joshua reacts to new footage, and experts analyze Jake's sudden speed boost. Despite none of the experts knowing what they were talking about, suddenly, every sports page became a Jake Paul documentary channel. But the bigger shock came from boxing veterans. A retired champion tweeted, "That boy got hands now," and the internet immediately collapsed into hysterics. Another legend posted a clip of himself nodding at the video like he'd just seen a young fighter discover his destiny. Even casual fighters commented things like, "He's coming for something big," which sent Joshua fans into panic mode. The reactions didn't stop there. UFC fighters began chiming in, posting eyeball emojis, fire emojis, or the classic sheesh, which is basically the athlete way of saying, "This man might be dangerous." Even fans who hated Jake secretly bookmarked the clip to study it. Because nobody expected him to upgrade his skill set like he downloaded a premium DLC pack overnight. Then people started speculating that Jake had been secretly training with some underground, off-grid, shadow-type boxing coach, the kind who lives in a mountain, refuses interviews, and only trains champions. Rumors spread that Jake traveled to hidden gyms, learned forbidden techniques, and sparred with beasts who only fight at midnight under flickering lights. Nobody had evidence. The internet doesn't need evidence. It only needs vibes. And these vibes were terrifying. But the real tension began when insiders revealed that Joshua's camp had been preparing for a predictable Jake. They expected basic combos, simple footwork, and influencer-level strategy. What they got instead was a man punching like he had a personal vendetta against the laws of physics. One insider even said, "This wasn't the Jake we scouted," which ignited an entirely new wave of panic. People started comparing the new Jake Paul to the old one like it was a globe transformation montage. They posted side-by-side clips showing his early fights versus his new training footage. The difference was insane. In the old videos, Jake moved like a determined bulldozer. In the new clip, he moved like a caffeinated mongoose with perfect foot placement. Fans described it as overnight evolution. Haters described it as witchcraft. And then came the wildest speculation that Jake wasn't just training to compete. He was training to dominate. Analysts claimed he might be preparing for a version of Anthony Joshua that even top-tier fighters struggle with. Some believed his footwork was specifically designed to counter Joshua's long-range jabs. Others said his speed upgrade was meant to neutralize Joshua's knockout power. Suddenly, Jake wasn't just a wild card. He was a tactical threat. The memes were vicious. Posts showed Anthony Joshua watching the clip while sweating bullets. Others showed Jake as an anime character, unlocking a new power level. One viral meme said, "Jake Paul training like he owes Anthony Joshua money." Another one had Joshua calling his coaches saying, "We need a new plan, now." But as dramatic as the memes were, the real shockwave came from behind-the-scenes whispers. People close to the situation claimed Jake's trainers had been hiding his progress on purpose. They wanted the world, and especially Joshua, to underestimate him. If that's true, the new leak wasn't an accident. It was a weapon, a psychological strike disguised as a training highlight. Joshua's fans were furious. They said the clip was clickbait. They said it was staged. They said Jake timed its release to shake Joshua's confidence. But even they couldn't deny what the world saw: Jake Paul moving with the speed, focus, and aggression of a fighter who didn't come to entertain. He came to conquer, and that's when the storyline completely flipped. Suddenly, people weren't asking how Jake got better. They were asking how far he planned to go. Was he aiming for Joshua? Was he aiming for a belt? Was he aiming to rewrite boxing history just to prove the world wrong? Whatever the answer, one thing became crystal clear. This clip didn't just stun fans. It shifted the entire energy of the upcoming fight narrative, and everyone realized Jake Paul is training like this. Then Anthony Joshua might be walking into something far more dangerous than anyone expected. The moment the clip hit its 10th million views, The internet officially lost whatever sanity it had left. Journalists were scrambling like pigeons in a hurricane. YouTubers were already recording breakdown analysis videos from the driver's seat of their cars. Trainers started whispering like church elders analyzing a prophecy. Because apparently, Jake Paul wasn't just improving, he was transforming like a Pekkaman that skipped evolution steps and went straight to legendary status. Fans noticed one detail. Immediately, Jake wasn't just punching faster, he was punching smarter. His angles were sharper than a toxic ex's comebacks. His footwork looked like he memorized a geometry textbook. His head movements suddenly had rhythm, timing, purpose. Memes started calling him Jake Ali, White Mayweather, and Problem Child Prime Edition. It was ridiculous, delusional, hilarious, and strangely accurate. Then Anthony Joshua himself finally reacted. Well, sort of. During an interview, a reporter showed him the clip on her phone. Joshua blinked 3 times, tilted his head slightly, squinted at the screen like he couldn't believe his eyes, then let out a tiny laugh, the nervous kind. The internet caught that micro-expression and treated it like he had just announced fear on national television. One fan tweeted, "Bro laughed, but his soul flinched." Within hours, the clip of Joshua watching Jake's clip went even more viral than Jake's clip itself. Editors threw dramatic music over it. Others slowed it down to 0.2 speed and added red heartbeat graphics like a medical emergency. One particularly evil meme added a subtitle saying, "Internal screaming intensifies." It was savage, but then came the celebrity reactions, and that's when things got wild. Mike Tyson reposted the clip with the caption, "He looks sharp." The internet fainted. Dead, gone. Packed up and left the planet. Boxing fans started arguing about whether Tyson meant it as a compliment or a warning. One fan said, "When Mike Tyson says you look sharp, you're either very good or very dead." UFC fighters jumped in too. Conor McGregor tweeted an eye emoji. That single emoji caused a 6-hour timeline meltdown. Even Floyd Mayweather liked to post of Jake's footage and war. Floyd doesn't like anything unless it benefits him financially. But the wildest reaction came from KSI, Jake's eternal rival. He tweeted, "No way this guy is real," which fans interpreted as pure panic disguised as sarcasm. Jake tweeted back, "You next," which ignited an entirely separate civil war between their fan bases. Suddenly, a training clip had both boxing and YouTube communities fighting in comment sections like medieval warriors. Meanwhile, analysts began breaking down the footage with extreme seriousness. One analyst claimed Jake had elite hip rotation. Another said he showed high-level ring IQ. Someone else suggested he had been secretly training with undisclosed heavyweight killers in remote locations where cameras aren't allowed. People began theorizing that Jake was hiding a new coach, someone with championship pedigree, someone mysterious, someone dangerous, and then rumors started. Jake was sparring heavyweights. Jake was flooring sparring partners. Jake was training 3 times a day. Jake wasn't sleeping. Jake was possessed by the spirit of a 90s boxing legend. Nobody had proof. Nobody cared. The internet thrives on rumors, especially the spicy ones. One particularly unhinged rumor claimed Jake punched a bag so hard that it broke a metal chain. Someone else said Jake had been running with weighted ankle chains like he was preparing for a Dragon Ball Z battle. Fans joked that he was training inside a gravity chamber. Meme artists depicted him lifting mountains, doing push-ups on volcanic rock, practicing head movement while dodging bullets from a Nerf gun held by his brother Logan. And yet, beneath all the comedy, something darker was brewing fear. Anthony Joshua's supporters began panicking. They started talking about Jake's unpredictability, his rate of improvement, his insane work ethic. They said this wasn't the same Jake Paul from 2 years ago. They said Joshua might be underestimating him. They said the training clip wasn't hype, it was a threat. Meanwhile, Jake Paul's supporters became unbearable. They were typing messages like, "He's ready for the heavyweight belt. Joshua finna be a highlight reel and the takeover has begun." They weren't joking. They were dead serious, which made it even more chaotic. Boxing insiders added fuel to the inferno. Someone leaked a message claiming Joshua's camp was quietly adjusting strategy. Another insider said they were surprised by Jake's explosiveness. A third source insisted Joshua had added extra sparring rounds after seeing the clip. Whether true or not, it made Jake look like he had already won the psychological battle. Then a leaked clip from Joshua's training surfaced, and fans immediately compared the two. Jake's footage was fast, sharp, explosive. Joshua's looked calm, controlled, methodical. But the internet twisted it instantly. They said Joshua looked slow, shaky, too relaxed. They said he wasn't ready. They said Jake's clip embarrassed him. Joshua's fans fought back, but they couldn't stop the tidal wave. Even journalists began pushing narratives like, "Is Jake Paul inside Joshua's head?" Spoiler alert, yes, even if he wasn't. The internet decided he was, and perception is more powerful than reality. Then the world discovered the second Jake Paul clip. The first one shocked people. The second one scared them. In this new video, Jake wasn't just moving fast, he was moving violently. Punch combinations flew like machine gun bursts. His hooks cracked the pads with frightening force. His footwork looked predatory. His stance was tight, balanced, dangerous. Even people who despised him admitted he looked terrifying. The comment that broke the internet came from a former heavyweight champion who wrote, "That kid is not playing anymore." That line alone triggered thousands of reaction videos, memes, articles, panic, suddenly. It wasn't about whether Jake Paul was a joke. It was about whether he was becoming a legitimate threat. And when Joshua's name got dragged into that conversation, the escalation hit maximum overdrive. Fans now believed the fight storyline had flipped. What started as a comedy matchup was now becoming a legitimate battlefield. People weren't laughing anymore. They were analyzing, studying, predicting, and the biggest twist. Jake Paul didn't deny a word of it. He didn't clarify. He didn't downplay. He didn't laugh it off. He simply tweeted one sentence, "I'm not done yet." The internet collapsed. Anthony Joshua fans panicked. Boxing fans debated, and everyone realized this clip wasn't hype. It was a warning. And what was coming next? That was even wilder. The fallout from Jake Paul's training clip didn't arrive quietly. It came crashing into the combat world, like a meteor with unresolved anger issues. At first, people thought the hype would die down in a day or two. But instead of fading, the situation escalated into a full cultural crisis. Reporters camped outside gyms. Fans stalked coaches. Algorithms went feral, pushing Jake Paul content like it was breaking news from another dimension. Boxing analysts tried to regain control of the narrative, but it was too late. Jake had become the center of gravity. Everything from heavyweight rankings to pay-per-view projections shifted around him. Experts began whispering words like legitimate threat and dangerous power. Even the old-school traditionalists, the ones who swore influencer boxing was a disgrace, suddenly stopped talking. Because they couldn't deny what they saw. Not anymore. Meanwhile, Anthony Joshua's camp pretended everything was normal, but subtle cracks began showing. His coach answered questions with one-word responses. His sparring sessions became private. His mood turned serious, intense, almost burdened. Fans noticed instantly. They said Joshua had lost the lightness in his eyes, which sounds dramatic, but honestly, in this context, it made perfect sense. Joshua remained calm in public. But insiders leaked a different story. They said he and his team replayed Jake's clip multiple times. They said Joshua wasn't laughing anymore. They said he respected Jake before, but now he was preparing for him like a legitimate threat, not a loud YouTuber with boxing gloves. Then came the sponsorship shockwave. Brands started calling Jake, not random companies, big ones. Real corporations. Suddenly, Jake wasn't just a fighter. He was a marketable monster. Meanwhile, Joshua's sponsors began demanding reassurance. They sent emails asking for competitive clarity. Translated, it meant, "Are you sure you can beat this guy?" Jake's momentum wasn't just climbing, it was skyrocketing past the atmosphere. The wildest twist came when a leaked Zoom call from Joshua's promotional team surfaced. You couldn't hear everything, but one line was clear. This Jake fight is not the same as before. Fans interpreted it as fear. Critics called it anxiety. Supporters called it respect. But nobody called it confidence. Meanwhile, the boxing community turned into a dysfunctional family reunion. Half the veterans said Jake didn't stand a chance. The other half said, "Don't underestimate him." It created a civil war between the old guard and the new wave, the traditionalists versus the disruptors. Comment sections exploded into debate chambers. Every post became a boxing courtroom. And then, something happened nobody expected. A heavyweight fighter who previously mocked Jake publicly suddenly changed his tone. He tweeted, "Actually, Jake looked sharp. Respect." That tweet wasn't just a compliment, it was a warning to everyone else. If even the loudest haters were folding, it meant something big was coming. Fans started speculating that Jake had been hiding insane improvements for months. That his trainers had been intentionally releasing misleading footage to trick opponents. That this leak wasn't an accident, it was a psychological ambush. Jake wasn't just preparing physically, he was attacking mentally. The media loved it. Headlines popped up like mushrooms in a storm. Joshua caught off guard by Jake's new power. Is the boxing world ready for a Jake Paul era? The clip that shook a heavyweight. It was absurd. It was dramatic. It was addictive. Exactly what the internet worships. The memes evolved too, shifting from jokes to full-blown predictions. Artists drew digital posters showing Jake towering over Joshua like a final boss. Animations depicted Jake training in supernatural environments, dodging thunderbolts and punching asteroids. The internet was no longer asking if Jake could beat Joshua. It was asking how badly. Joshua's fans panicked, but slowly. Another group began emerging. The people afraid for Jake. They worried he was taking on someone far too experienced. They worried the hype was pushing him toward disaster. They posted comments like, "This clip is cool, but please don't die," which somehow became the funniest and sadder part of the entire narrative. Then came the emotional shift. What started as hype became pressure. Jake's mother spoke out, saying she was worried but proud. His brother Logan posted a cryptic message. He's built different now. His friends said he was training like he had, something to prove to the universe itself. Jake Paul, the YouTuber who once made slime videos, was suddenly being discussed in the same breath as heavyweight legends. The switch was insane, but fans weren't the only ones reacting. Promoters began eyeing the fight differently. Rumors spread that betting odds were shifting rapidly. Some insiders claimed the upcoming match might become the biggest selling fight of the year, not because of belts, but because the storyline was too wild to ignore. And then it happened, the moment that changed everything. Anthony Joshua finally went live, he said. One sentence, just one, and it detonated. The internet, like a spark in a gas chamber. Joshua looked into the camera, expression stone cold, and said, If Jake fights like that, he's in for the toughest night of his life. But he didn't blink. He didn't smirk. He didn't shrug. He looked, threatened. The internet caught it instantly. Joshua's tone wasn't dismissive. It was cautious, focused, respectful in a way that made fans uneasy. It was the kind of tone fighters use when they know a storm is coming. Jake Paul responded within 10 minutes. He tweeted, "Good. I want it to be tough." That tweet alone sent Twitter into panic mode. People screamed. People laughed. People cried. People threw their phones across the room. Because now it wasn't influencer versus boxer, not YouTuber versus champion, not hype versus skill. This had become warrior versus warrior, a real fight, a real threat, a real moment in boxing history unfolding in real time. Jake Paul's clip didn't just stun Anthony Joshua, it shifted the entire balance of the sport. And the scariest part, everyone sensed that something even bigger was coming. The story was no longer about the clip. It was about the future, the collision course, the moment destiny punches back, the fight the world never expected, but now desperately needed. And as the hype reached absolute maximum, fans realized something. This wasn't just training footage, it was the beginning of the end, or the beginning of a new era. And if you survive this entire roller coaster without passing out, throwing your phone, or calling 911 for emotional support, congratulations, you're officially built for the chaos of modern boxing. Because what Jake Paul just did to the internet wasn't normal. It wasn't casual. It wasn't even legal in some countries. That training clip didn't just drop, it detonated. It shook timelines, destroyed egos, and sent Anthony Joshua into the deepest meditation session of his career. But let's get one thing perfectly clear. This story isn't done, not even close. Jake Paul hasn't hit his final form, and Anthony Joshua hasn't said his final word. The next chapter is already loading backstage, behind locked gym doors, in private sparring footage nobody's allowed to see yet. And the second it leaks, oh, trust me, the internet is going to explode all over again. So don't just sit there like a background. Extra smash that like button like it owes you 10 months of rent. Hit subscribe like you're slapping the Wi-Fi box after it froze during the fight intro. Drop a comment with your craziest prediction. Because let's be real, boxing today is basically a superhero movie with slightly more paperwork. Turn on notifications too, because here at this channel, we don't nap, we don't blink, and we definitely don't miss moments like this. If Jake Paul sneezes in the gym at 3:14 a.m., we're dropping the breakdown at 3:15 sharp. This is where the legends rise. The narratives twist, and the drama hits harder than a heavyweight uppercut. Welcome to the fire. Welcome to the frenzy. Welcome to Punch Press, the Punch Press.